Hi, this is Natalie Rydstrom here from SportsBookReview.com. Norwich host Stoke on Saturday for their third match of the Premier League season. Newcomers Norwich have had a slightly better start to their season than Stoke in terms of wins, but then again, they have been playing different levels of opponents. Richard Prew, sports writer and contributor for BMR, joins us now to run through the match. Do stay tuned for some tips at the end. Now, Norwich do have the shorter odds there to win this match, but Stoke finished 9 last season and should, on paper, win this. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking that I'm quite surprised to see Norwich are favourites, and my reasoning behind that is Norwich were promoted into the division via the Championship playoffs last year, and 9 of that team were the team that won up via the Championship. The manager's been struggling to recruit players to the team in the off-season. This is a team that's widely expected to be in relegation trouble. They lost their first game of the season 3-1 to Crystal Palace, who I think you'd argue are a team of a similar type of standard to Stoke in and around the top 10 last season. And perhaps Norwich are favourites because they then went and won at Sunderland 3-1 at the weekend. But as we saw in the first week of the season, Sunderland looked like they really could struggle this season. That might be indicative of a type of game that they'd had last season, rather than the challenges that they'll get week in, week out in the Premier League. So I would instinctively be looking at Stoke here. Yeah. And the one thing that you have with Stoke, well, last year they finished 9th in Mark Hughes' first year as manager. And he really changed their style into more of a footballing, played on the ground style. They were famously quite a long ball, hard tackling team in their first few years in the Premier League. They lost to Liverpool in the first game. Well, that's not too great a surprise, but then really showed a lot of grit to come back from 2-0 down to draw at Tottenham 2-2 last weekend. And they have, I think, had quite an impressive summer in the transfer market. Athalai and Shaqiri have both come in from top European leagues. Bojan, the ex-Barcelona player, will be fit, if not for this game, pretty soon. And really, that's indicative that the Premier League really has a lot of financial resources. If a team like Stoke is attracting these type of players from Champions League clubs, then you know that Stoke is a team going places. So when Stoke go to Norwich, you've got a top 10 Premier League team against a side that it would be a huge surprise if they weren't bottom 6. And you have Stoke at over 2-1 when I looked earlier. And I think that's a pretty attractive bet that Stoke, to my mind, would be favourites for this game.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at those odds quickly. Norwich 2.4, William Hill. Stoke 3.2, Bet365, and the draw 3.3, Bet365 also. Last 5 meetings spanning back to 2012 have ended in the under 2.5 goals, with just 1 match seeing goals from both sides. But I think there could be goals in this match. I think in the season opener matches here, we've seen them concede, we've seen them score. I'm actually leaning towards the over in that one. That's 2.23, but it's the under, which is the favourite bet there, 1.7 with Bet365. What's your lean?
Well, you have to bear in mind that for Stoke, when Tony Pulis was their manager, they were famously an unders team. They weren't conceding a lot of goals. They had big, tall defenders. The ball went long from the back. And basically, you could back them under most weeks and be reasonably confident that the team would be set up to give you a run for your money. Under Mark Hughes, they're not quite as solid as they were, but they've also got more goals in them at the other end. So looking back at statistics from 2012 and 2013, I think probably gives you the wrong signal. At least I hope it does. Norwich, they probably don't have too many goals in them. You have Championship strikers stepping up to the Premier League, but what you do have is Championship defenders stepping up to the Premier League. And they typically find that if they make a mistake in the Championship, they may not be punished for it. If they make a mistake in the Premier League, then strikers will typically score the goals. And that's one of the big challenges for promoted teams. So that, to my mind, would be another reason to look at Stoke, but probably the overs rather than the unders. The market is assuming that it's the Stoke of 2 years ago, if it's pricing the under up at 1.6, 1.7. So I'd be looking Stoke and the overs
Okay.
as a combination, really.
Okay, fantastic. And what would you say, again, for our viewers watching, if they wanted to just play sort of one bet for this match, which is sort of the one that you would say, you know, take a look at that one?
Well, Stoke at 3.2 will do me. I couldn't have them higher than 2.5 myself. Norwich could well be a lot better than we all think, but I'm not prepared to back them to be that at this stage. I think Stoke are going to be a very consistent team this year.
All right, then, so it's Stoke to win 3.2 there, bet 365. Richard Prew, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.